I want to get to the Jayden Reed audio here. So he kind of clarified the report from ESPN earlier about him needing to be told that he's the Packers' number one guy. So let's hear that.
A lot of people misinterpreted that. Like, I hired a new agent, and we talked about it before even the draft, really, that, he said that he was going to talk to, the front office and everybody here to, just catch up and make sure everybody on the same page. And as a new client, he told me that's what he was going to do, and he did it. So now I don't know how I got out because it was supposed to be confidential, but that's how it goes sometimes. People get a different perception, and they make their own perception, which is okay. But that's how it goes sometimes.
So I love that interview. I love that he was just like, it is what it is. It was supposed to be confidential, but it's not, and it's fine.
It's kind of like what Wildy said, though, in the beginning was basically this is a conversation.
Oh, for sure. It's exactly what Wildy said. I just like the idea that, this didn't go exactly the way he thought it would go, but he really was just like, that's just water off a duck's back. No big deal. This is business.
It's still just going to be talked about every single game this season. The announcers are going to bring it up constantly, I feel like, even though it's essentially a nothing burger, that it was just his agent trying to do right, but I don't know. There's
a couple factors, because then you got Dontayvion Wicks with sort of social media. I don't know if he did like the eyes or whatever when Josh Jacobs said he needed number one. You have Romeo Doubs, who missed practices last year.
Yep.
So you got a mercurial room. And so it's not the one.
And then you drafted a guy at the first overall.
And then you draft another guy. You have a room full of young players and in a room or in a position that's full of egos and no real veteran leaders in that room. You are begging for problems.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, to your point, it would probably come up, a good broadcaster would bring it up, like, in context of, like, hey, there's just been a lot of small little fires that had been put out in the wide receiver room, and then they added two receivers, the newest one getting paid more than anyone else in that room. And there's no vet in there to be like,
crazy.
hey guys, like, I get it, but let's go try to win.
I will just always come back to Mark Chmura saying this. I'm trying to think if this was 2 years ago. Maybe it was I guess it probably would have been last year when Matt LaFleur basically said that he wants to vomit at Jason Wilde's question about a number one wide receiver, which Kay Adams actually asked him the exact same thing last week, essentially, but in different words. But Mark Chmura, he brought this up, and this was before anything happened. This was in, like, very early, I think before the season even started, where he was like, it may all seem like it's going to be hunky-dory right now, and it's all, it's fun and games that all these guys are just going to split reps, like it's going to be great. But I remember him saying there will be one guy whose ego comes out and they want to be the number one person. They want to be the guy. Like, this will not always stay in this happy-go-lucky team and, we're all kikiing, we're all getting along as receivers, we're all in this together. It will always be the egos are going to come into play, and one guy will want to be the number one person. And that's what's happening, is that now we all thought that this was fun and games last year. I think we were all like, we don't need to have a number one wide receiver. Then once we saw last year shake out, we were like, holy crap, we need a number one wide receiver on this Packers team. And now look what's happening. Now there's arguments essentially happening that somebody wants to be the guy and nobody's stepping up to do it.
Do you think they need a number one wide receiver, or would they benefit more from just like an old head, like a Donald Driver type? Where like they're there.
Like if there was like a Cooper Kupp that came in?
Well, ideally,
because I know we talked about him, like he probably wouldn't be a number one wide receiver, but he's that veteran look.
It's more of like, I'm trying to think of a player, like it's more of you had a guy around, and so they understand the culture of just sometimes you pay a guy past 30, like Randall Cobb coming back, like someone who understands what it means to be a Packer, like Cooper Kupp.
Devontae Adams?
Yeah, Devontae Adams. But like Cooper Kupp coming in, he's new to the scene too. Like you've just had an old head around in the room. Because, I mean, who's the most veteran player on the Packers offense? Is it Jordan Love?
Elton Jenkins.
But like, I guess I'm curious. I've obviously never been in like an NFL locker room, but does an offensive lineman, even though like, would an Elton Jenkins veteran guy be able to control or kind of talk to receivers and stuff because you're not in the same position? Like, you can't relate on some level.
Well,
not as often. Like
Jordan Love would be the guy, and he's not that guy.
Right.
But like he would be the guy that could like control that room or have that conversation. Or again, you would ideally it's keeping a guy around who maybe is a mid-level. Like, it's just a mid receiver, but you're like, I just want to have this player around so then he's just in the room.
Yeah.
Like, it goes back to the Packers operate a lot, everything on a whiteboard, and not understanding, like, these are humans, and having people over 30 in the locker room does serve the purpose of just being
There's something to be said for culture.
a mentor,
Yep.
a culture. And it's not that young guys can't have great culture, but when you're young, you just react more. Things are just a little different. And that's why teams pay vets. It's not always for past performance. It's also for, like, hey, this guy knows what's going on.
The X factor.
The wily vet. Like, that exists for a specific reason, and it exists for sometimes you just need a little bit of, what's the word here? I guess just help to make sure that locker room is in check. And I think that stuff matters. I mean, you see that with young teams. They didn't do it with Jordan Love, but whether it's bringing in a veteran quarterback so then, like, Jordan Love could pick his brain when there's not coaching going. That's the other part of it, too. Like, there's only so much coaching a team can do. Well, if you have a vet in every position group that's been around the team for a while or even new, they can be like, hey, we're going to do some of our own practices. You want to come with us? We'll help you watch film. We'll help you learn some extra footwork because the coaches can't do it because it's not allowed to do it right now, but we can do it.
So,
I'm not saying rookies will never do that. I'm
Right.
just saying that having a vet is helpful.
I mean, look at Xavier McKinney's training with Jair.
Yeah.
He's the vet that's kind of taken at least one of the DBs that seems to have an issue with their contract, and going forward, he's at least making sure he's ready to play wherever he's playing. Now, Mike, I kind of have a question for Molly. She had said last year there's all this talk about number ones, right? Mm-hmm. I don't really feel like there's that talk is lingering, but I don't think there's like. Before this Drew Rosenhaus agent thing talked to the Packers on Jayden Reed's behalf, there wasn't really like number one wide receiver talk. And then
You don't think so?
I think it was lingering from the year before. I don't think it was like new.
The report that Schefter had put out was also because of the drafting of Matthew Golden in the first round and Savion Williams in the third round.
So I guess what I'm getting at is if Drew Rosenhaus and Jayden Reed, they chat, and Drew Rosenhaus is like, hey, is it cool with you if I check in with your team and find out what your standing is? And he's like, yeah, that's great. As my agent, you should know where I stand with the team. Drew Rosenhaus goes in and could ask about number one. Like,
Who are you guys thinking is going to be the number one?
And that's what I'm saying. Is like, there's no reason for us to believe that Jayden Reed was like, hey, find out if I'm the number one guy. This could have been the agent kind of paraphrasing what he wants to know. Where's our standing? Like, he had the most yards on the team last year and the year before. Is he the number one wide receiver?
But if you're confident in yourself,
But I'm
why
saying
would
it's
you
not-
need to get
it's
that
not Reed
reassurance?
saying that. That's the agent
but
saying
you just said that could have been him having the conversation. And I know we're just predicting what happened, but like you just said that he was having the conversation with his agent.
With Drew Rosenhaus saying, hey, I'm new to you. How about I get a feel for your standing in Green Bay?
More likely, though, an agent asks the question the player wants to ask but doesn't want to ask themselves.
Which to me shows your lack of confidence. Right. And to me, it looks pathetic.
Now again,
maybe pathetic is harsh.
Now again, I don't think the Reed thing, the Wicks thing, or the Doubs things are necessarily big deals on their own and on face. It's just all of them together.
The Doubs thing is a big deal.
But it goes all the way back to you have no veteran leaders in the locker room. You got Jenkins and Love. I don't know Jenkins' style. Love does, by all accounts, is a lead by example guy.
Are we considering?
Well, you got Josh Jacobs.
But he's brand new.
He was brand new last year.
So this year he could be a leader.
Yeah.
But
Tucker Kraft talked about being a leader.
Defense, offense is not not much.
But Tucker Kraft said that going into this next year, that is something that he wants to work on, is being a better leader. Also, I feel like Jason Wilde has also reported that Matt LaFleur has given the challenge to Jordan Love to step up as a leader as well. So that shows you something too.
I'm betting money on Kraft being the guy that he comes across the year 6 on a team. We're going into year 6 on a team, and you have to be challenged to be a leader. And again, I think Jordan Love's a leader. He's just not traditional leader.
See, but I don't think, and I know we talk about that he wasn't a rookie, obviously, when he started, but I feel like if you have somebody like a dominant presence like Aaron Rodgers that you're kind of sitting behind, you don't even have the chance to be a leader.
Okay, what about the last 2 years?
No.
Yeah.
The last 2 years, I'm
Yeah.
saying yes, but I'm saying I don't think the years that Aaron Rodgers was here, I don't think we can say, oh, you've been here for 6 years, you should be a leader. It's when Aaron Rodgers left, he should have stepped up right away and been like, this is what we're doing. He should have commanded a presence.
Like, you don't have to lead the whole locker room. Jordan Love still could have been all the young guys could have been coming to him because Aaron Rodgers left the leadership void. Like
It's true,
the counterpoint is Aaron Rodgers was not
From
a great leader,
by
and
all
so
accounts.
all of a sudden that leadership void. I think that's kind of what Aaron did when Brett was around. Like when Aaron, as an example, when Brett left, the players were very ready to play for Aaron, and so because Aaron had created a leadership style that some of the guys flocked to, even though he wasn't the full-on leader of the team, he was a leader on the team. And again, I think Jordan Love is still I don't question him as not a leader. I just think it's more of he's not a demonstrative leader, like a Charles Woodson would be, or I'm trying to think of Donald Driver, like the ones that were true elite leaders. Everyone can lead in their own way.